Here I have the Sales Hero Illustrator image open in Photoshop. Now, how I'm going to separate this is with a standard simulated process routine, but what I'm going to do is use the add 3 color flesh tone routine, which basically means we're going to get, we've got a screen print 3 shades of flesh tone, which will give us a much more realistic skin color. Now, how we do that, before I start, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more color to the image. It's a little flat, not much, it's pretty good, just it needs a little bit more color, just give EasyArt a little more information to work with. That should be enough. So the first thing we have to do is we have to tell EasyArt which areas of the design we want to be skin colored. In this case, obviously, it's the hands and the face. So to start, what I'm going to do is click on the Make a Mask. Now draw around the edge of the part of the image you want to mask. The mask includes only those areas you want to appear in the drawing. After you have created the mask, push the Make Mask button again, which is now turned red. As you see there, it is red. It's very important that you push that after you've made the mask. Now what I'm going to do is just zoom into the face area. Now with the pen tool, I'm just going to trace around the area that I want to be in the mask. Obviously the skin colored areas. Now you do a much better job than I'm doing here. I'm just quickly going around to give you an idea of what to do. But as I said, you'll do a much better job than this. Take a bit more time, a bit more care, and you'll get a better result. I'll quickly trace around that. Now fill that path. You want to fill that with 100% black. Opacity 100%. Mode is normal. Feather radius set to 0, must be set to 0, and anti-alias must be turned off. If you have any number in the feather radius or the anti-alias checked, you'll get a fuzzy edge around your mask, and you don't want that. So click OK, and you can see the area has been filled in. Now I'm going to delete that path. And then you'll continue on and do all of the areas that are skin tone until your mask is finished. That includes all of the face, the eyes, and both of the hands. Now I already have this mask made, so I'm not going to carry on any further. Once again, I'll just click on that Make Mask button again to finish the routine. So if we go to the channels list, there's the mask that I just made just now. And as you can see, I already have one made previously to speed things up a bit. So you can see I've included the hands and around the bottom of the eyes. Now, so I'll just delete that mask I just made. I don't need that. I'll turn that off. So now we just go to the EasyArt Action buttons, and I'll click on the standard Separate for Colored Shirts routine. This image has a transparent background, so this is the routine you would use for this particular kind of image. If I turn on the channels list, you can see the separations being created. So EasyArt will separate to the standard 11 simulated process colors. We always separate into 11. It's not often you use that many, but that's what we separate to give you the best options available. So the flesh tones in this routine will be created using the yellow, the red, and the dark brown. That's the simulated flesh tone. But we're going to take it one step further and create a dedicated skin colored ink. So if we go to the channels list, the image looks a little bit light there. Generally it depends on your monitor how strong the image is. We've tried to limit how the image appears on the monitor because everybody prints a little bit different. So it's only with experience that you get used to seeing what appears on the monitor in regard to how the image is separated. And after a bit of experience, a bit of practice, you'll know whether you want to increase colors and decrease colors, that kind of thing. Like I said, everybody does it a little bit differently. Now if we have a look at the yellow, the red, and the dark brown, that's our simulated flesh tone. Now that works alright, but we want a dedicated flesh tone. Now how we achieve that is we come down, because we already have the mask made, you You must have a mask. And we come down to the add 3 color flesh tone. Now what that's going to do is you'll see it uses that mask to pull out the information in that area and splits it into 3 shades of grayscale: light, medium and dark. It's those 3 shades of grayscale that you use to print your flesh tones. Now I say grayscale because everything in spot channels in Photoshop is grayscale. Although we specify use this color and use that color, it's still grayscale. It's quite important to remember that. Because although we're separating the flesh tones here, we could in actual fact print any 3 shades of any color. It could be 3 shades of green, 3 shades of blue, whatever we wanted. So let's go and have a look at the flesh tones. So we've got light, medium, light and dark. Turn those 3 on and you'll print that with the dedicated flesh colored ink. EasyArt comes with recipes to mix up those 3 shades of skin color, but you can of course mix up your own 3 shades of skin color. That's up to you. Now if you also have a look at the yellow and the red and the dark brown, you can see that those skin areas have been removed from those 3 channels. Now the dark brown and the dark flesh colored inks are almost exactly the same, so you don't need to print a dark brown and a dark flesh. Just add the dark brown to the dark flesh channel. Now how we do that, the easiest way to do that is come down to your EasyArt adjustment buttons. So I've selected the dark flesh channel, come down to the adjustment buttons and click on add dark brown to, and you'll see that that information that was on in the dark brown channel, which is basically the tie, has just been added to the dark flesh channel. So now you can delete the dark brown. In fact, we'll delete all the channels we don't need. Magenta, we can delete that. Green, we don't need any green. There's no green in there. We might as well get rid of that. Now you can see we've got 2 blues here. We really only need 1 blue for this particular image. So I'm going to delete the light blue and just keep the dark blue. Now you can see the dark blue appears quite grey on the screen. Now if you printed that out as halftones, when you print out your film, all of this grey area here will be halftone, and we don't really want to do that. The reason why EasyArt is doing that is because this blue that is in the original image is not a standard EasyArt blue. So to simulate, how EasyArt simulates that blue in the image is it halftones it so that it will reproduce this kind of blue here when you use the standard EasyArt colored ink. But to get an even better result than that, we won't print the EasyArt blue, we'll print this blue. So you'll have to mix this blue to match exactly the design. But then when we come to the dark blue channel, what we have to do is we have to make sure that this is going to be 100% black because we're using a dedicated color. Now how we can achieve that is we'll come to the levels adjustments. Levels is very important, and it's important that you learn exactly how the levels works because you'll be using it a lot, especially with the EasyArt separations. Now first thing I'm going to do is you can see this light area up here. I really want to get rid of all that. I don't want that to have a very light half tone on the film. So to get rid of that, I'm going to click on the white eyedropper tool in the levels window. Just click on that, and you can see all that area and anything close to it has disappeared. Now to make this 100% black, so when I print out the film it prints solid, I'm just going to click on the black eyedropper tool and then click on one of the letters. And you can see now that's going to print 100% of that color. So now what I have to do is we're no longer printing the EasyArt color, we've got to screen print this color. Now how we can get that color exactly right is I'm just going to duplicate the image, turn off the separations. Alright, so that's the original image. Now I'm going to change the EasyArt color ink to that blue. You see the ink's a bit brighter. So I'm just going to change it to that. This is for visual reference only. You're not really changing the separations at all. You're just changing how the image is going to look when you turn on the different channels. Now we've got the yellow. Up to you whether you want to print the yellow or not. There's very limited information on there. Buttons are there, so if you want to reduce the number of print colors, you can print the yellow. Let's go through the channels now. So we've got white, yellow, red, dark blue, which is now a dedicated blue. Medium grey, we can have a look at the grey. There's quite a lot of grey there. You probably want to print the grey. And then we've got the 3 flesh tone colours. Obviously this all adds to the number of print colours that you're going to create, especially when you add 3 colours of skin tone. There is another routine here that will produce a 2 colour flesh tone, basically not as accurate, but is one less colour for you to print. And the black. And that's pretty much it. And if you print those colours exactly as they are, that'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a 9 colour print. But as I said, you can easily get this down to 6 colours. Maybe you don't print the yellow. Maybe you don't print the medium grey. You could in fact simulate the grey by adding it to the black. We have a button here to simulate grey. It's called Combine Medium Grey Channel. What that does is that adds it to the black channel. So as long as you're printing black, you can simulate grey with a halftone effect. So there's always ways to knock out more colours. But the idea of EasyArt is not to get everything down to 6 colours. It's giving you the options to print the best print you can with added options to knock it down to 6 colours or even 5 if you really want to. Now there's probably one other thing we need to look at here is I'll just beef up the colours in the red. I think it's another good idea before we finish. Once again, levels adjustment. This time I'm going to click on the black eyedropper tool and look for the darkest area on this red channel and click on that. And that's just going to beef up the color a bit. You can use a curve adjustment or you can use the levels, up to you. And we'll turn on the channels we're going to use again. And that's pretty much it. And if you want to get the colors more accurate to the original, it's just a matter of, it's probably the medium flesh, because what we do is we specify particular EasyArt colors. Now, medium flesh, we just change that to the medium flesh in the original design. I'm just guessing here, of course. Light flesh is obviously going to be the lightest area in this design. Maybe there. Dark. But really, the accuracy doesn't come until it's time for you to actually mix up the ink in the pot. In fact, it looked more realistic before. So you get the idea. And that's pretty much it.